Good afternoon, good night, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Welcome, Flickin' Fanatics, to the Friday Night Speakeasy with your host, Jesse Swift. And we got very special guests, and I can't wait to introduce them right after this. His name's Jeff. Hey, Jeff,
Hello.
what's going on? Welcome to the show. I think we're supposed to do this. There we go.
There you go. That's a nifty animated opening that you got there.
Isn't it? Sean did some good work. I was going to ask if you had been on since we've had that. So I don't think you've seen that.
I'm guessing no. I haven't been on most things in a while, except for like Spin from the Real recently. So other than that, like not even doing our own stuff anymore.
Those guys are all right. Those guys are okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we do these things when we have the time to, but it's been so long since we've actually been able to do the proper reasoning, I guess, for having this show, which was always to be the laid back kind of Friday night talk about whatever, but it became the everything we don't have time to talk about on News and Views on Saturday. So we would cram in a like Moon Knight review. We were reviewing Halo until I lost interest, and I think by proxy maybe Sean lost interest. I don't know. So
I haven't gotten. I watched the first 4 episodes. I haven't gone back and watched any of the ones that I've missed. The other 5.
Ironically, I think I stopped watching after 5, and 5 was the best episode. You would think that would turn me around, but I was like, I had to wait way too long for that.
Yeah,
so yeah, I kind of gave up on that.
For a lot of people. I saw something say like I saw a headline last week that was like, finally Halo hits its stride. I'm like in episode 9 out of 10.
Yeah, right.
That means you have to invest 8 hours before you're like, all right, maybe they've got something.
It's not that it was the worst thing in the world. I just thought it was like actively boring. You know?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was like a lot of like good stuff in there, and it just didn't ever come together into anything super great, at least of what I had seen. I mean, then again, I'm behind on so many things. I don't remember anything about episode 4 of Moon Knight, and I never even watched episode 5 or 6.
That hurts my feelings a little bit. I really like Moon Knight, but I wouldn't say I'm in the minority, but it's definitely a little bit divisive, I guess. I liked it all the way through, though. Before we get too carried away, occasionally we have some new viewers. And I want to welcome everyone to the SWIFTWINGS Friday Speakeasy. Welcome one and all to the Whatever Show, where we talk about whatever we feel like and cover shows and topics, things like that, if we deem it worthy. But tonight we don't have to do any of that. No schedule, no rules, no format. And we do have a little I almost said donab. That's a new word. A donate link down there. The Streamlabs down in the corner. So if you think we're funny or you just want to take pity on us, you can click that link and throw some money at us. And please share the video. That helps even more, and let us know in the comments that you did and where to. Usually I would say this episode's brought to you by Celsius Energy Drink, but tonight it's brought to you by a cold glass of water that I finished even before the intro was done. So anyways, with that, how's everyone doing? Tell us what to talk about tonight. John Lestrina. So you know what? Yeah, Sean Wingblade does look different. Sean Wingblade also looks like he didn't want to give Jeff his own overlay, which is tragic. I think even Chris Anthony Lopez has his own overlay, so that's pretty sad. I was actually playing.
Well, I'm in here so sparingly. So it's fine.
Well, let's fix that, man. Like we'd love to have you on more. But John Lestrina and I played Evil Dead the game. It was either last night or the night before, and that's fun. It's a silly good time.
Wow.
Are you an Evil Dead fan, Jeff?
So slow. I love the Evil Dead. I plan on getting the game, but I bought so many games recently, and I don't even know where to put them, let alone time to play them. Is my internet looks like super fuzzy.
On mine, it looks okay.
Okay, I'm looking at the YouTube video. I pulled it up there, and I look blurry on there. So
I don't know. Maybe you just have pixelated skin. We did technically win. We lost about 5 or 6 games in a row, and then we started playing one that was going well, and the demon we were playing against quit about 8 minutes into the game, and I was like, okay, so we did win one technically. If you do decide to get Evil Dead 1, you don't have to get a hard copy. If you're wondering where to put it, just download it digitally.
I do physical copies.
Of course you do. I am 0% surprised. Well, if you do find a spot for it, it's cross-play at launch, so no matter what you get it on, you and I could play if you would like. So that would be fun.
Cool. Yeah, I have a PS5 and Xbox One, but yeah, the Xbox only is for Halo for bowling.
Why does, by the way, hi Pat. Why does Pat remind me of that meme of Mickey Mouse being like, "It's a tool we'll use for later"? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know that meme. Nope.
That's fine.
So that fell on deaf ears.
It sure did. Hopefully somebody in the chat knew what I was talking about. Jeff, what
Jesse.
are you watching lately? I know something you watched today.
Yeah, I watched a few things today. I watched Starsky and Hutch in the morning because I felt like rewatching that.
Are you talking about the movie with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson?
Yeah, with Ben Stiller,
or the show?
Owen Wilson. The movie with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn, and yeah. It's funny to go back and see the cast that some of those movies had. We're like, yeah, it's Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn and Jason Bateman and Will Ferrell is in there. Then Fred Williamson is in there. But then there's also, like, for some reason, Carmen Electra and Amy Smart as cheerleaders. And then the same guy that Todd Phillips has in all comedy is singing at some sort of party.
When I think Carmen Electra, I think of her taking a dump in a church in Scary Movie 4 in the back of the pews. That's what I know her from.
Oh man, I enjoy that movie quite a bit still. I think it's still fun. Oh, Julia Lewis too. From Cape Fear and Yellow Jackets. She's there.
Hey, William Harold.
Hi. And yeah, I watched Chippendale Rescue Rangers earlier. It's very funny, very clever. There are tons of like Easter eggs and stuff where it's really fun to be like, oh, but the story itself and the mystery and whatnot is still fun enough that it doesn't like mean that just because there are a bunch of references, it's to cover up from a not interesting movie. It's able to manage like both of those. It really does feel like, you know, as many people have said it, a spiritual successor to Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I feel like that's what Space Jam tried to pop up and be, and it's like you were never going to be that. So it's good to hear mostly positive reviews from Chippendale. I plan on watching it either late tonight or tomorrow.
Have you been spoiled to any of it yet?
Yeah, unfortunately, I am very pissed off because I've listened to 3 or 4 reviews that all said there's like a great cameo that they couldn't believe Disney got, and then I'll just tell people to avoid IGN if you don't want to know that, because if that's it, because IGN had like in their thumbnails on Facebook, I just opened up the apps and an image from the movie was right there within like hours.
People were sharing it all over Twitter and like sharing clips from the movie involving it, and
like it's really funny, but I wish I didn't know.
Right, but at the same time, on replay value though, you would know. So how does it still work? So in that case, I knew about it going into it, and it still hit really hard. It didn't have the surprise factor, but the surprise factor only works the first time you're watching something.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to see how they interweave it into the movie.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's going to be fun.
It's very clever. It's very meta, but not in a way that's like super obnoxious or like winking. I
also feel like it's a movie for the kids might enjoy it, but also like movie fans and animation fans, because there's so many like jokes, like CGI jokes just in the trailers, which I appreciate.
On its surface, it's definitely a kids movie, but I think that the intelligence of the humor, the kind of things and themes and like acting metaphors and parts of the story, it's like this movie is very much way more for adults than it actually seems. And like it's ridiculous. Like it's from The Lonely Island there, because Andy Samberg's a star in it,
and it's Schaefer. Is that his last name?
Schaefer directed it. Yeah, Akiva Schaffer. And then it's got like Man of Steel cinematographer Larry Fong shooting the hell out of it.
Fascinating.
Yeah, like and then Brian Tyler, he's a pretty good composer. He does the music for it. It's
Yeah,
not
Brian
a spoiler,
Tyler's
but
been
like
all over geek movies and Marvel films, and
the movie. It's not a spoiler. The movie opens with a needle drop of "Friendship" by Tenacious D.
oh, that's so great. My wife just saw Tenacious. Hey, Maxwell, how you doing, buddy? My wife watched Tenacious D for the first
Pick a
time a
Destiny?
few months ago. Yeah.
The movie.
Mhm.
I rewatched it recently. I still love it.
It's great.
I listen to the soundtrack every few months. I'm like, I'm gonna listen to Pick a Destiny here, knowing all the lyrics to Kickapoo.
Oh yeah,
I'm seeing Tenacious D in September.
That's
I'm
awesome.
flying. Yeah, I'm flying out to Ohio, and on a Friday night, I'm seeing Tenacious D. My brother is going with his girlfriend and his girlfriend's family. And
maybe I'm out of the loop a little bit. Do they have any new music?
They had an album come out a couple years ago, Post Apocalypto. I haven't listened to it yet. Like I still play. I need to still like they and I think like Jack Black like hand drew the entire like music video movies that went along with it.
Wow.
So I still got to listen to that entire album and then do that before the actual concert in Ohio that night.
I listened to like, was it Rise of the Phoenix, like back a ways?
Oh, Rise of the Phoenix. Yeah, that was like 10 years ago.
Dude, every time I look up an album,
10 years ago.
Every time I look like an album, I'm like, this is a fairly recent album, and it's like 2009. I'm like, fuck me.
Yeah, no, that it's like a 10-year-old album. I remember when it dropped. I remember when the song "Rise of the Phoenix" dropped. I remember where I was in college, in my college house, and I remember who the roommates were. So
was
it had
it a long
to be
ass fucking
based
time
on
ago?
the time frame. In a town called Kickapoo, maybe.
Yeah. All I needed to hear from Lauren is that she said she loves Jack Black, and I was like, "Have you seen Tenacious D?" And she said no. I was like, "You can't say that until you have."
Has she seen all of the Kung Fu Pandas?
I think so. Whereas I have seen one of
one.
them. Yeah, me too.
I saw the first one, and I want to watch them all before the Netflix series drops this summer, because it's a Netflix series that has all of the cast coming back for it.
Right.
So it's like the same creative team, at least acting wise, and they contribute.
That's something I want to talk about. If I actually felt like putting any professional work into this podcast, I would have looked up some things. But maybe you have some stuff off the top of your head. I want to shift over for a minute on what do you want to watch coming up this summer, because this is the summer of streaming. There's so many things. Just next week, we have the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan and Stranger Things season 4 part 1. Is that what it is? And then
all right. So here's what's happening with that. It's not part 1. It's that because Netflix does this whole thing where they drop them all to binge. It's a 9-episode season, so they're dropping the first 7 episodes in a week on Friday, and then beginning of July they're dropping the other 2 episodes.
Okay. And what I just heard recently is that I think 2 or 3 of the episodes are going to be feature length, so an hour and a half or so, and that's a lot.
Some of them look like crazy long.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I feel like ass backwards on Stranger Things, because some people feel like it's kind of diminishing returns, but I couldn't give less of a shit about it until I finished watching season 3. Like, I had a hard time getting to the first 2 seasons.
I really enjoy the show. I don't really have, I really enjoy watching it and then thinking about it for a bit, but then it's not one that I feel myself needing to go back to. I'm gonna watch it when it airs, but I'm not gonna rewatch. For instance, I'm a couple episodes behind, but one of the shows that I absolutely adore, it's about to have its mid-season finale, is Better Call Saul. That's one of the best shows on TV. One I'm very excited about is this summer, What We Do in the Shadows comes back.
Get on it, Jimmy. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I didn't realize I was doing my catch-up binge on What We Do in the Shadows, and when it got to the final episode, I was like, wait, the next episode's next week, right? And it turns out that was the season finale. I was like, no, damn it. And for any of you that watch that show, oh no, I can't think of his name right now. Colin Robinson. Yeah,
Colin Robinson, the energy vampire.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Baby Colin and
is
leave it at that.
Horrifying to see. Horrifying to see. It is horrifying. It is child faces on cockroaches and cats level of horrifying.
Oh yeah, well it's very similar to that, having a deep faked adult male on a baby, which they're doing some of that in that. Speaking of horror movies, that movie coming out, Men, the Alex Garland film. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, AJ Lancaster. Let me pull up his when he went and saw Men tonight, and he had a great tweet.
Did that come out this week? Or was it early?
Yeah, and he said, about to go to the theater to see the new Alex Garland movie, Men. As a fan of Men, all of their contributions to society, I'm excited for them to finally be celebrated with representation on the big screen. And then he follows it up, fellas, I might have misread the situation.
Ouch. I didn't know that came out, but like, that's a movie that it piqued my interest a little bit. I didn't realize it came out today or last night probably. I might wait for that to come out and watch it at home. I think, I don't know. It's hard for me to go to theaters for horror movies sometimes.
I get it. I mean, I want to go see it. Maybe I'll hopefully see it this weekend. Who knows? It's been a bit. I haven't been to the theater. I was about to say I haven't been to the theater in 2 weeks, but I forgot I went past Friday a week ago. I'm thinking like only by using my AMC list. I forgot I went to the Philly Film Society. They had a film festival for like a spring festival. So I went and saw an early screening of Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
Oh, dude! Spoiler for review from Jeff. Let's go right here.
Second favorite movie of the year right now.
Oh wow! What's your first?
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay, I was going to speculate. Is it an A24 year? And you know what? The Northman was really good too.
I really dug The Northman, but my problem is I can only give it so much credit when I had a 10:30 screening. So with trailers, it started close to 10:55, 10:50.
You fall asleep a little bit.
And before that, I got so drunk with my friend.
Oh no.
we got hammered. We were drinking at home. We drank some other things that were infused with things. And then we went and ate and had more drinks. And then we went to the AMC and sat at the bar and had drinks again. And then we went to the theater and then fell asleep for 40 minutes in the middle of the movie.
I can imagine that would be rough. As invested as I was, if it had been much later, I probably wouldn't have made it. But it was fascinating. It was visually impressive. I'm still, even though it's so well done, and I can imagine it was expensive, I'm still a bit shocked that that's a $70 million film.
Yeah, it's like, first of all, Northman is not A24 though. It's Focus Features, which is under the Universal banner.
Oh, why did I think it was A24?
Because it feels like it. Because Robert Eggers, the guy who made it,
it's because Lighthouse is A24, right? Yeah,
and The Witch, or the Vivitch. Yes,
the Vivitch. Yeah.
And they looked at like that. Think about. I mean, it's really $90 million, and then tax credits and rebates to $70 million. That's what it looks like at least. So what's crazy is like looking at The Witch. You're like, okay, this guy should do something else. And then you look at the Lighthouse, and you're like, give him $90 million. And don't give him any notes.
Yeah,
and that's what the Northman is. The Northman is a carte blanche project. It's crazy that they just did that, especially Focus Features, and they probably weren't they were probably just not the finance.
I'm curious what the Northman has brought in, because I'm pretty confident it's lost money, which makes me sad.
About $31 million domestically. I don't know worldwide, but it's going to be in the red. And then there will be some VOD, because here's the thing, because it's a Focus Features film, which is under Universal's like a lot of the different studios change their distribution tactics.
The Northman has brought in about $60 million worldwide.
Yeah. So and
no.
you have to remember that 70-90 doesn't include advertising costs either.
Right,
So you got to
advertising
make
and
about
theater cuts.
you got to make about 2.5 times, 2.5 times your budget in order to make a profit.
Listen, the Northman spoke to me watching the trailers, but like also watching the trailers, I also questioned who is this for? And you can't be asking who is this for with a movie that costs over $50 million to make, I think. Because it's pretty niche.
I think it's crazy. I know,
and
but
I
I'm
loved
just
it.
happy that they took a swing for it and let the
Sure.
movie be the way it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way studios after with COVID and whatnot, by throwing things directly on Peacock or VOD or on demand and whatnot, they started changing their distribution deals.
Mhm.
So it used to be like 90 days or something in theaters before going to streaming, VOD and whatnot. So everything's been changed now to closer. A lot of them have changed to 45 days before dropping it on like their own individual streaming services or VOD.
Some companies
Universal has it.
Some companies are sticking to the 45-day window that shouldn't. Like,
Yeah,
I think they put Batman on HBO when it was still pulling in like a good amount of weekly box office.
yeah,
Like, you probably could have
made
waited
a
another
little
week
more
or
money.
two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. So Universal has like a weird thing where it's like if a movie makes, I believe, over $50 million opening weekend, then it will automatically get 45-day theatrical run before going to VOD. If it makes under that, then they can have the window shortened to as short as 17 days exclusive.
Well, yeah, because it's really no skin off the theaters. Yeah, it's no skin off the theaters back when it's like it's not bringing in butts to seats, so it doesn't really need to linger in their theaters. Right. So yeah, that makes sense to me.
Like for instance, Paramount is 45 days, and then it's renting, or you can go on Paramount Plus, I believe, or definitely Paramount Plus for sure. But that is going to impact The Lost City because it just hit Plus this last week, and it's like this close to $100 million domestically. And by going on to streaming and VOD now, it's going to probably just miss that. It's going to get to like 98.5 or something. Sonic, though, that was a huge hit, and it's still making a little bit of money, but I believe because it came out a week after Lost City that it's going to probably be a Paramount Plus to just watch at home this coming week, which is good because I haven't seen it yet.
Both of those movies were pleasant, very pleasant. And there's been several movies this year where that's kind of been my one-word review. Is I don't have anything really overly positive or negative to say, just I had a pleasant time watching that movie. Yeah. And that's how I felt about Lost City and Sonic.
Let me see, because I'm looking at my 2022 rankings here, because I've watched 51 2022 films, and like everything, like my top 3 are A24 films, which is funny. Everything Everywhere All at Once, Marcel the Show with Shoes On, and After Yang, which is like a really quiet, contemplative version of
hang on, I'm trying to remember who was in that, because I saw a trailer for that. Who was in the lead?
Colin Farrell.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. And I got like Batman number 4 right now. Scream is number 5 for me, or 5 Cream. I got Northman at number 6, but really it should probably drop down lower because I'm confident I still have to rewatch it at this point. Have you seen Kimmy yet on HBO Max?
Mm-mm.
Kimmy,
that's the Zoe
Kravitz
one, right?
Steven Soderbergh movie. It fucking rules. It's
Does
awesome.
It? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch the trailer for that one. It didn't quite sell me as much as I like Zoe Kravitz. But that's good to know. I hadn't heard.
I think it's great.
I wasn't hearing anything from anybody either direction, so I'll check that out.
And then Turning Red.
Lego's asking if we've seen The Sadness.
Have not seen The Sadness. I've seen the title, but that's it. I
Live the Sadness.
The worst movie I've seen this year is 2022's Cheaper by the Dozen, starring Zach Braff and Gabrielle Union. It can be hot, sticky, or sweet, depending on how you watch that movie. They say that phrase "hot, sticky, or sweet" many times in the movie.
I think while we're talking about theaters, we should really highlight your beautiful shirt for the audience at home.
Oh yes, this shirt here.
Yes,
this one here.
As somebody
heartbreak
that
feels good in a place like this.
Yeah, as somebody that operates solely off of using AMC A List, your shirt fuels my hate fire.
Oh man, I love it. I found it. I think it's like Teespring or something. I bought it. I'm not wild about the font, but other than that, it's exactly what I wanted it to be. Got it in temper colors.
This is my my Patman. It's my Robert Pattinson Patman. Yeah. Wait, aren't you little hot wearing a toque? I'm assuming a toque is a beanie, yeah? No, I have some windows cracked in here, but my hair looks like hell today, so I just decided to.
I don't have a window cracked. We don't have air conditioning. We don't have air conditioning in the house that we bought.
That sounds scarier than men.
It's being installed this week.
Hey, that's exciting. Hey, Star Drew, how you doing?
It's supposed to be up to 95 tomorrow, so I don't know if it's exciting or not.
I want to know what everybody watching the show right now. We got 10 live viewers right now. What are you guys looking forward to, both streaming and movies? Because I'm sure there's things that I'm not thinking about right now. I want to see Black Phone, though. I want to prioritize that, even if I have to see
Black
it by
Phone
myself.
looks real cool. I
heard good things coming out of.
After the early festival stuff, yeah. I think I'm not going to be able to see it until like July. It drops like last weekend of June, but I'm going to Florida.
Of course,
people.
Seeing Top Gun next Thursday. Me being cheap like I am, I had the option to see it on Tuesday, but because it's restricted from A-List, and I said
I'm not doing it either.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be real transparent. If it was a Marvel movie, I would have shoveled it up. But I'm not gonna be.
You're a shill.
Top Gun spoiled. I am a shill. I'm an absolute shill. And I hope if I shill hard enough, I can start making that Disney money, like Coy Jandreau and Straw Hat Goofy and any of those guys out there.
What is it? I just watched all of Joseph Kosinski's movies, the ones that I haven't seen, and rewatched Only the Brave. So in order to do that, I had to watch the first Tron for the first time. Wasn't a fan. And then I watched the new Tron that Kosinski made. It was fine. It looked gorgeous, and the score was awesome. But I couldn't.
Oh, it's real pretty until you look at Jeff Bridges, but the rest of it's pretty.
Oh my god, that is nightmare fuel.
Yeah,
it's Colin Robinson. Baby nightmare fuel.
I'm so glad
and
that
then I watched
somebody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and
Lego brings up Nope. You know, I'm such a contradicting asshole because I was like, yeah, I have a hard time prioritizing horror movies in the theater, but Nope and Black Phone are going to be like day one for me probably. I think
about
I just have
Black
to honestly...
Phone is what Scott Derrickson went to make when he didn't make in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. And I think Men is just like, when I look at the concept of it, I'm like, this is interesting, but it's not pulling me in. But I'll sure watch it. You know what I mean? So I think it just might be me waiting.
Mm-hmm.
My cats are having a whole time. Hey, Brendan Marr on Twitch. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, hey.
Go ahead.
I went to then I went and I watched Oblivion, which was.
Have you ever seen Oblivion before?
The first half was way more interesting than the second half. Once again, great score, gorgeous to look at. That was about it for me. It's
and then they try to give you a big twist ending.
Is as good as his scripts.
Mm.
Yeah, it's the he's only as good as his scripts, I think, because his good directing can only take him so far. But then I watched Only the Brave again the other day. I haven't seen it since like it first came to home video. Only the Brave is legitimately great. Have you seen that one?
I have not.
It's about
that's not the one with. Go ahead.
Josh Brolin, Miles Teller. They are part of the fire firefighter like hotshots. So like when they were big, the wildfires in the Southwest, they would go and they're the people who would like dig lines to like stop the fire and burn everything up ahead, so that way fuel is no longer available for the fire to help put it out. And it's about these people and the true story of them. There's like 20 of them, and the true story is about how they all were such a great unit until something happened, and only one of them made it out alive through the whole thing. It's a crazy story. It's not a spoiler because it's a real life event. So,
are you telling me that the Titanic is going to hit the iceberg?
Yes, that's exactly it. Only the iceberg is fire.
I lost picture of that. So what else is coming out? June. I'm looking forward to a lot of things in June.
Thor,
like
that's July.
Thor. But I'm trying to not make my shilling any more obvious than it already is. But I'm actually very excited for Lightyear.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. They
sure
just
it'll be fun.
Pretty consistently.
I'm sure it'll be fun. I think it'll be really fun. I'm not necessarily like super excited to see it, just because like I go into it with lower expectations, and hopefully that blows me away. I just see the trailer, and it's like, yeah, it looks fun, but I think one thing that does a lot of the heavy lifting is it's Starman playing.
Well, you know what's so funny, and my wife says I'm over exaggerating, but so they've had I think 3 trailers already for Lightyear. And the first 2, the teaser trailer and the second trailer, use Starman, and I get chills. And the third one did not, and it's my least favorite of the 3 trailers. So no, you definitely have a point there. I was looking forward to it, but the reason I went from looking forward to exciting is I'm hearing a lot of people had a very emotional response because after they showed the first 20 minutes,
the first 30 minutes, yeah,
at CinemaCon, and so that pushed me a little bit. So now I'm actively looking forward to it.
That definitely helps me feel excited for Top Gun Maverick because, like, I gotta tell you, the first one is fine. It is totally.
Don't tell anyone I agree with you.
It is totally of its moment, and the love for it is rooted in the moment and not the movie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And also the volleyball scene, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what way you lean or how you feel. That volleyball scene is objectively sexual.
I would love to take what Lego's saying and discuss trailer music shortly. Not quite yet, but shortly, because there's so many things that really stick out, bad and good uses of music.
All the trailers that use the music from fucking Sunshine. Anyways, sorry. I know you.
I have my Jurassic World tickets, but I swear if it wasn't for the fact of like staying relevant and it being my sister's birthday and it's her like favorite film,
you wouldn't
franchise,
even bother to see it until it's at home. Yeah,
I still haven't seen Fallen Kingdom.
I have. It's dumb.
Yeah. Well, I felt like I was in the minority because like people were maybe feeling a little mixed after the first Jurassic World. I actively despised the movie. Like I walked out.
Jurassic World is bad. It's a bad.
I walked out very mad at it. I said, "This sucks." And
it's bad. And like hearing Colin Trevorrow talk about that scene, where that assistant just gets brutally murdered by all of those dinosaurs. And it's weird because like his justification in theory makes sense. This idea of like, well, it's a big monster movie. There are people totally innocent that killed through all this, and this was like my homage or like me like referencing that thing of like the one super unfair innocent person that gets killed. I'm like, cool, great idea in theory. However, it ended up working out on screen, though, feels so off and just uncomfortable. Like, what is wrong with you? This is like,
what did she do to you personally?
Overkill.
Yeah, well, it's like, and you have Vincent D'Onofrio, who's an active asshole in that movie, and he gets kind of like an off-screen death, and then she gets like killed by 3 separate dinosaurs, and I'm like, okay, if you want to have that point, you can have a T-Rex or something come by, and sure, she dies. But it's the fact that they linger on it for like 5 minutes of just her getting dipped in water.
The closest thing I can think of, you know what's actually a really similar feeling that I have? So recently, because Ambulance came out, I went and I watched like every single Michael Bay movie. Ones I hadn't seen. I didn't rewatch Bad Boys movies because I watched them recently before the newest Bad Boys came out. I didn't rewatch Six Underground because I was like, I just don't need that in my life, because it's terrible. But I watched everything else he made, and so I finally watched Transformers: Age of Extinction for the first time. And Transformers: Age of Extinction is the single worst blockbuster ever made.
Wow.
It is so
Age of Extinction is 4,
in so many
correct?
Ways. Yes.
That's when I stopped. Well, I would have stopped after 2. I had an ex force me to watch 3 and go, wasn't that great? And I said I wanted to burn my eyes out. And it felt like it was a 4-hour movie. And then one of my friends said, come see Age of Extinction with me. And I said, you couldn't pay me to go see it. And he said, I actually will pay you and $5. And I said, fine. And I went with him, and I would have let him keep his money.
So I binged through all of them. That includes Last Night Afterwards, which is almost nearly like, it is virtually on the same level as Age of Extinction to me. But I think Age of Extinction is just slightly worse. It feels like a fan film, like a bad fan film parody of the Transformers movie. But also, like, it was 420, so I also like had a bunch of like stuff. Like I had like this like dropper stuff, so it was like hitting me halfway through the movie, and then all this like CGI starts happening, coming to the screen, and I'm like, I'm watching it like this. It feels like I'm watching a fake movie right now. This doesn't feel like someone actually made this, produced it. I feel like this is actually a dream. I don't feel like I'm watching something real right now. I must be asleep because all of this looks so terrible and it makes so little sense, and I can't understand anything that I'm seeing. It can't be real. But there was something about it that just like made me so unhappy watching that. And I don't even remember why we ended up talking about why I got onto Transformers there.
You're watching all the Michael Bay movies?
Oh yeah. I was watching that, and I don't remember what that was connected to either. I just talked until I forgot what I was saying. Perfect. It happens.
I don't know about you. I also am looking forward to Elvis. I don't know what to expect.
Oh yeah, Elvis comes out. Oh man, I might not be able to see it. I think it comes out the same day as the Black Phone. So I am trying to figure out what I want to do to see that. If I want to see it that Thursday night, a week later, when I can put it in the movies again to see it. I'm not sure, but like,
I should be that asshole. And
I'm not big on Baz Luhrmann.
Do you know how often I say Laz Berman, and it's really upsetting, and I can't stop it from happening.
I know there are people that love Moulin Rouge. I think it's one of the most aggressively, unpleasantly edited films I've ever seen. I think it is just so disorienting and like not enjoyable to watch.
I will not pass that information on, but I think it's in Lauren's top 3 movies ever.
I know there are some people that love it, and it's great. There are movies that I love I know people don't like, so
sure.
But that's how I feel about it. I've only seen, what is it? And then of course, everyone has their thoughts on Romeo plus Juliet.
I think
my middle school showed it to us.
I enjoy it.
It's fun in theory. I think in execution it's somewhat lacking, but like I guess at the time you could say it was ambitious.
Well, what if I told you the story of Romeo and Juliet is somewhat lacking?
I would probably agree with you.
Yeah. So, when you do an adaptation that doesn't add a whole lot other than a filter, then yeah, that makes sense that would be the case.
Like, I think my favorite Baz Luhrmann movie might just be like Great Gatsby, and I haven't tried watching it since the theater.
Oh, and Great Gatsby is kind of what you were saying about Romeo and Juliet for me is I despise the story of Great Gatsby.
Yeah, I'm not
However,
interested in the story though.
I
It's all
think
the style that I like for that movie.
exactly. And I saw the Robert Redford one. I read the book, and I just all around always hate Great Gatsby. And when I watched the movie, I said, "This feels like the way to do it." Like they tried to add some life
Something.
to something I deemed to be mostly lifeless. So I was like, "This is a well-made movie."
Ass,
oh, the soundtrack did
the
kick
soundtrack
ass.
ruled. What is it? Is it Bang or Bang Bang by will.i.am? It is. That's great. That's a legit banger. Yeah. I'm gonna look up the actual album now to see because that was great. I haven't listened to that album in forever. Oh my god. But I'm also very interested in how people feel about Elvis because of most of the stuff you actually can't even download on your phone, I guess.
I'm glad that I get to see Austin Butler before he plays Fedor Rafa.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
yeah,
he made this whole movie, and now they're all very like locked in on Austin Butler because it's WB, and I think Legendary is part of it as well for Elvis. They're obviously high on him, so having him be Fade Rafa is very, I think it's a sign of good faith. I mean, like, was it Lisa Marie Presley or whoever said that Austin Butler should win an Oscar, but
it's come a long ways from the Sharina Chronicles or whatever it's called.
Shannara Chronicles?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I mean, he's come a long way since being one of the characters who showed up in like 47 episodes of Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. Yeah, he was on like 40-something episodes of the show.
Lego says, unapologetically, thank you. I love The Great Gatsby. That's awesome. I think it was a well-made movie. I just don't like that story. There's a few examples of that. It's kind of how another example would be like Mad Max Fury Road. I respect it on all filmmaking aspects. I just don't care about it.
Bag. So, yeah. I mean, I obviously I fucking adore Mad Max Fury Road. But like, so today I fully popped when I saw the 3,000 Years of Longing trailer drop from George Miller's new movie. His first movie being made since Mad Max Fury Road. The dude shot it when he was 70 in 2012, came out in 2015. Forever put that together. And now this, so it's been 10 years since he made another movie, 7 years since it was released. And the last one he made was a stone cold action masterpiece. So I'm very excited for whatever the hell the director of Happy Feet 2 does with this movie.
I want to go to the multiverse where George Miller's Justice League happened just to witness it.
Oh man, I want to see a multiverse where he literally gets carte blanche on everything whenever he asks for it. Mm-hmm. Him and Margaret Sixel, and John's still shooting it as well. Because he's crazy.
Dude,
Mad Max and Babe, Pig and Happy Feet.
What more do you need?
Weird combo. Which
did you have the chance to go out and see The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
Yes, I saw an early screening, like a few days early.
I did as Paulina. Well, about a week early, I think.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like a week and a half early on a Wednesday. Thanks to A-List. Very enjoyable. Like it a whole lot. That
was another one of those movies that I said pleasant. I was just like, "How was your experience?" I was like, "It's very pleasant. I had a good time."
It wasn't trying to be some sort of crazy ambitious thing. What it tried to be was something super enjoyable and watchable, and it succeeded in that.
Yep, someone did say Nick Cage.
I think that it really ranks for it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, my only complaint is I thought it could have been cagier. But maybe that's because we had earlier last year, I guess, we had an episode of Shark Jumpers, which we haven't done for a while, where we were reviewing Nick Cage movies, and I got to watch Drive Angry for the first time, and I'll never be the same. I'll never be the same. And also, William
I mean,
Fichtner should be in everything.
I haven't watched Drive Angry since like a version of it dropped online, and I watched it illegally on like the computer at my parents'
What?
house.
Nobody here has ever watched anything illegally.
Illegally, no. I just got the Neon 5-year box set.
Mhm.
I'm really chopping up here. Like, does it look like I'm freezing up?
Your audio's fine. But yeah, you look like cat litter. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Bullshit. That's fucking dumb. Here, I'm gonna hop out real quick.
Can somebody clip that out? Got it.
Right. No, I'm gonna hop out real quick and then just reset my internet. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. Lego, yeah, you said Sharks plus Nicolas Cage equals USS Indianapolis, Men of Courage. I don't not recommend it. If you want to see that, if you type up Shark Jumpers, Nicolas Cage, I think, or Flickin' Real Shark Jumpers, we had about 3 episodes, and they were a lot of fun, where we just kind of took a look at careers or actors or movies that they jump the shark, if you're familiar with the saying. We talked about Pirates of the Caribbean, we talked about Men in Black, and we talked about Nick Cage's career. So it all came full circle when we got to watch The Incredible Weight of Massive Talent this year. One of the things that I want to bring up and ask people about is we've been talking about movies and all the things coming out this summer, which is very exciting. But what streaming things are you guys most excited for? And I feel like that's fairly topical because we just had our first trailer for She-Hulk that came out to a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Interesting reactions.
Yeah. And I mean, I was kind of part of it, and usually I try to avoid the negativity, and I'm pretty positive. And to be fair, I have softened some, but yeah, it was undercooked and not ready. But that's a whole other topic.
That's super different. Yeah. That's super different. And if it stays that way at the time of release, there's definitely issues probably at play there.
Right.
But
I guess I'll get into it for a second. My whole point was, and I know that they were releasing it because it was like the Disney Front or whatever that event thing was called. And so they had to show off some of what they had coming. Especially with TV series. I do like that some of the trailer windows are getting shorter and shorter. And we're starting to get trailers for movies like 4 months ahead of time, 5 months ahead of time, and not 8, 9, 10 months ahead of time.
Yeah.
With series, I really think most of the time, a month and a half is probably good. Maybe 2 months to market it. And so, I think it came out and it didn't look done, and it got judged maybe unfairly. We won't know if it was unfair until the show really drops. But what's coming out that you're looking forward to? We brought up for a second the next week we got Obi-Wan and Stranger Things, but there's a lot of other things, big things at the end of the summer.
Hold on one second here. I'm also looking. And what's upcoming?
Mike K brought up question. Do we really need trailers for film and TV more than 3 months in advance? I don't think so. Sometimes maybe big stuff, it's cool to have a teaser, like a minute and a half teaser within the 6-month window to announce. But I think marketing, they could probably save themselves a lot of marketing money if they wait and condense closer to the release date.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for Bob's Burgers movie, which comes out next week.
I've never watched Bob's Burgers.
I love Bob's Burgers. I haven't watched, solidly the seasons in like a couple of years, but the show itself is just great. It's really solid, very fun, very funny.
What's it streaming on these days? Is that Hulu?
Hulu, yeah, because it's a Fox show.
I'm getting my fantasy fix finally, because I've been somebody that's been a bit underwhelmed by things like The Witcher and Wheel of Time. I did recently watch 2 seasons of his Dark Materials, which was fun, but now we're getting it's not the best and it's not bad. It's good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like his Dark Materials more than The Witcher and Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time I gave about 4 or 5 episodes and jumped ship.
I haven't watched any of them. So,
but the point that I was trying to get to is that we have the return of the Westeros in House of the Dragon, and also Lord of the Rings, $400 million TV series.
I'll watch. I'll watch. That's really all I could say. Like House of the Dragon, cool. I'm glad that it's not Benioff and Weiss there.
Yeah.
But like, I don't care enough at that point. I think that the ultimate way that series wise the show ended actively messed with how one can feel about the previous great seasons, because sometimes many shows don't have a great finale or something, and it's like it's fine because sometimes a lot of these things, if it's a sitcom or this stuff, it was about the journey, not the destination.
Well, yeah, imagine if Breaking Bad fell on its face at the end.
Yeah, but the special unique problems of Game of Thrones and its final season really was everything could have in theory ended up like working and making sense and feeling satisfying, but they didn't spend like the extra 2.5 seasons.
It did make sense that the season just kept getting shorter at the end.
They were just trying. There's all sorts of stuff that I think that we don't actually know about from like random tweets I had seen. People made vague references and then deleted those references to it. But the way it ends makes so many creative decisions and stuff that happen ultimately useless.
Right.
Like it meaning nothing. Everything that has to do with Jon Snow, the constant importance of understanding the heritage and all that other stuff, you know, the whole big like he is the chosen one type bullshit. There's totally a way to do that where it's expectation he's not actually the one, etc. But they did it where it didn't matter, and they did the same twist twice. Yeah, optimistic. Always be optimistic. If you haven't seen something and it's not out yet, always hope for the best for it.
Can I just take a brief second and say, like, there's some people that's saying like Marvel output is going south or their quality of work or whatever is not up to par. I think what we need to take into account possibly is ratio. And we look at the ratio of films we got in like 2011 and stuff. Our Marvel content was 1 to 2 things a year for a while. Mm-hmm. And now we're getting 15 properties a year between TV shows and movies and stuff. And so we don't like a couple of them. I don't think that means that Marvel as the brand should be viewed as tainted as some people are trying to make it out to be.
I think it's I think that it's not even that it's necessarily exhausting, which it is a little bit because it's like, oh my god, I'm suddenly falling behind on these things.
It's a lot.
And like what Doctor Strange showed, like you really got to make sure that you're keeping up with like WandaVision there, and then whatever they're going to do with like Sam Wilson and Bucky, like next, like, oh, you have to make sure that you definitely caught up with Falcon Winter Soldier. Hawkeye, I don't really know what they're doing there. And then there's
well, the thing is, like, though, if you haven't seen WandaVision, they do speak it all into existence in Multiverse of Madness. You know? But it does lack
it's definitely
its
a problem. Yeah, it's definitely a problem there where there's like, yeah, I actually totally I like the Wanda arc with it all. It makes sense to me. The problem is that where we see the end of WandaVision with that whole setup there, and then suddenly she's there. It feels like creatively there is 1 to 2, like 1 long scene or 2 short scenes maybe or something that just, we understand Darkhold bad, but like we needed to see something before it's like, oh, and now she's back.
It didn't need to be one of the shortest Marvel films, probably.
It actually felt like it could have had more. And not talking about like, oh, cameos, this, that, the other thing. I don't care about cameos that much.
More story.
The thing about cameos, the thing about characters that are just cameos and whatnot, other than just acknowledging that they exist in the wider multiverse, it doesn't actually do anything creatively. That is absolutely like the difference between what's fun about Chippendale with like, oh my god, I recognize that, and I recognize that, and I recognize that, is that they
The
stop
exception
plot
being
dead.
Bruce Campbell. More Bruce Campbell is fine.
That's totally different because he's also a straight up joke as opposed to this where it's like they set up where it's like they stop the plot dead to do this thing to make sure that you can acknowledge these characters. And the best thing about it at this point, it's been out over 2 weeks. I think it's okay to spoil some things now.
If not, if you guys haven't seen Multiverse of Madness, this is your like 60-second warning.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just gonna say it now, not even 60 seconds. Them happening.
I mean, wrap it up within 60 seconds.
Oh, yeah. I mean, them being like, yes, here are all these casts. Oh my god, think about all these theories you had. This is awesome, isn't it? And now let's brutally murder every fan cast that you just had on screen. It's like here you.
It was the MCU's X-Force.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. And it's frankly it's hysterical that they did that.
Well, yeah, and Deadpool, it's like, wait, look at this cast. We're getting Louis Tan as Shatterstar. Yeah, Bill Skarsgård.
And Terry Crews.
That's what I couldn't think of. Yeah, Terry Crews.
Oh my god, and I love Rob. Holy shit, I'm thinking of Rob Corddry, and I know that's not his name. Rob Delaney, that's it. I love Rob Delaney. His show that he made that was distributed on Amazon. It's 6 episodes a season, 4 seasons, called Catastrophe. Absolutely fantastic. One of the best comedy shows, in the last 10 years.
Here's a question: who's your favorite streamer right now?
Streamer?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like exactly? HBO, Netflix, Hulu.
Oh, streamer.
Who's got the best bang for the buck?
Shit. Good question.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are trying to pick and choose. Like, they don't have money for everything, so they're trying to pick what streamer to go with.
I get that exactly. Like, I have so many of the streamers, but part of it is because, like, I have a couple that I've paid for. Other ones are free through like cable or phone stuff.
I acquired most of mine through
paid by other means. And other people are paid through like other people, and it's just password sharing between like a couple family members or friends. I don't know. I mean, I go to HBO Max a lot, but I also go to Hulu a ton. But I also go to Netflix a bunch. Disney Plus, I've never thought was particularly great. It's cool. It has a bunch of Disney shit there. And then as I realized, like, I'm not watching Disney stuff nearly as much as like they're such a dominant force, but I'm not rewatching Marvel stuff normally.
I honestly like a lot of the backlog for Disney. Like I go back and watch like X-Men. Not everyone does. I love the X-Men the 90s cartoon. I've watched some of that and Spider-Man stuff. And I think Disney Plus is my nostalgia streaming plus, the stuff that I'm interested in currently. But if I were to put one top dog, for me it's HBO. However, I think give it 12 months and for it to get even more footing, Apple TV is coming for everyone.
Apple TV, I was about to say, Apple TV is low-key. It feels like people don't talk about it as a service, but it rarely misses. Even the things I don't watch, I see how the general like reviews.
Well, Coda came from Apple TV, right?
Yeah. And like
Ted Lasso.
Like Netflix has been trying for years to win. And Netflix was trying for years to win Best Series, Emmy, comedy or drama at the Emmys. It took years until finally not the past Emmys, but the one before that, they finally got it with The Crown or something. And then came or a couple years ago they got it with The Crown. And then for Best Picture, they got so close with Roma, and they got so close again with Power of the Dog. Apple TV in its first, it started fall 2019, but
we don't count the last 3 years as it's 1 year.
Within 2 calendar years, it got a Best Comedy Series at the Emmys. It got the Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series for the surprise win for Morning Show. And then it got Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars.
And there's a nice variety of stuff on there. I don't know if you've watched Schmigadoon with Keegan-Michael Key.
Schmigadoon is fun. It's not as good as I wanted it to be.
No, I agree.
Fun. It's like a
It is.
solid like 6.5 out of 10.
And I think what Apple TV is going for really is quality over quantity. Like they have some stuff on there, but it's like their ratio of good content is so high. And Netflix is like, if we just make a million things, you'll find something to like, but they also don't market anything.
Well, now I think, I don't know if you saw it, and correct me if I'm wrong, they cut like every one of those diversity departments they created. It's at Netflix. Strong Black Lead, all the other stuff. They cut them all.
They're making a lot of
Jeremy there. Severance is fucking awesome. Have you watched Severance?
Is Severance? No, wait.
Severance
is that the one Ben Stiller
directed 6 out of 9 of the episodes? The first 3 in the back half, and the back 3, starring
Adam Scott. Yep.
Zach Cherry, who I think should be the next cameo guy for MCU, not digital Stan Lee.
Listen, on the note of digital Stan Lee, I just want, like, you can see the head and glasses over there, and that's probably a digital creation, right? But like that's it. Like just let us point out a Stan Lee head. Like there he is.
Yeah.
Where's Waldo?
Exactly.
Right.
That's all you need.
It can't be a substitute, like replace and give him the cameo that we did before, but it would be fun to have the Where's Waldo, or there he is in a window somewhere, you know?
I agree. I think something like Zach Cherry, he's just fun. He's awesome. He's really, really good in Severance, and he's so fun in his MCU pop-ups when he was in Shang-Chi as the guy filming on the bus, and then he was in Spider-Man.
Yeah, do a flip.
That was Far From Home, wasn't it?
That's Homecoming.
Oh no, was it really Homecoming? Was that 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Was it? Jesus.
Because he was still in.
They all blended together. I watched them all back to back.
Well, with Lego also bringing up Netflix and things, and something I hope does not get canceled. My most anticipated thing, like, ever right now, like TV shows, movie, whatever, is going to be on Netflix, and it's The Sandman. And we're getting our first real trailer for it, I believe, the first week of June, and all we know is that it's coming out this summer,
this year.
Which I'm glad they finally said summer.
Summer 2013, I read Sandman. I read all of it, and it was when Ocean at the End of the Lane was released, the book, and I went with a friend of mine to New York that day, and we went and we walked around like Central Park all day because we were waiting until this book signing event where he was there and read a bit of Ocean at the End of the Lane, and then everyone got in this big line, and he signed a copy of the book, and he also signed my copy of Dream Hunters, the one with that gorgeous like Japanese art style.
I love the art in Sandman.
And this thing that I was so disappointed I wasn't able to get though at that was one of the things he does that that's like his thing that he finds fun was every few books or something as he's signing stuff, he'll draw a little ghost on the inside of someone's book.
That's cool.
I was jealous. I wanted to get one of those. And he didn't do
it. Neil Gaiman is so involved in this particular series. Every single featurette clip, anything that comes out for this show.
He's the showrunner, I believe.
At least partially. He's helping produce. You might be right.
I think he's the showrunner of this. He's definitely like really behind Nancy Boys. And he was, I believe, the showrunner of season 3 of American Gods.
Which
I never even watched season 3.
I never watched American Gods. I started watching Good Omens. I might need to get back into it.
Oh yeah, he was the showrunner of Good Omens as well. Good Omens is fun. I like it. I read the book. I really enjoyed the book. They did a great job capturing it. It also feels like oddly, I don't know, like, I don't want to say cheap, but like weirdly, I don't know how to describe it.
Just trying to see. Directed. Well, it always scares me a little bit when I see David Goyer's name. I never know what I'm gonna get.
All the time. I mean, you can get You can get like Blade Trinity,
Yeah.
or you can get Man of Steel, or you can get a good movie instead of either of those.
I hate you. Oh, I forgot. Boyd Holbrook is going to be the Corinthian. David Thewlis is John D. So the other thing I want to bring up for anyone that's not familiar with the Sandman, there's so many different ways to get into it. You can get individual volumes. You can get, if you really feel like just going all out. Right there abouts is the whole Sandman collection, about like $200 worth collection. What got me into it though is Audible. There's currently 2 acts on Audible that are each about. Dude, it's so good. They're audio productions.
I just don't listen to audiobooks.
No, that's fine. I'm just letting you know. Hey, Maddie Gunner, what's going on? They're about 12 hours long, and it's like an audio production. So it's not just like someone reading a book to you. It is acted out. Like there's a full cast and stuff with the likes of James McAvoy, Kat Dennings, Jeffrey Wright, Riz Ahmed. I'm trying to think of more people off the top of my head. John Lithgow's in it. The guy from Bridgerton, whose name's like Renee.
James McAvoy is Dream.
Yeah. And what's unfortunate, Michael Sheen plays Lucifer. What's unfortunate is that so much of the voice cast, I'm like, yeah, any one of these people could have been their live action versions.
Right.
And so it's hard for me now seeing the Netflix cast. I'm like, I'm sure everyone's going to do great. But I have so solidly put these people in my head. And if not Michael Sheen, then next down I have Tom Ellis playing the same Lucifer.
I haven't watched. I was literally going to say I haven't watched the show, but I know that Lucifer is, technically adapted from the Lucifer series that was spun off from Sandman.
Yeah.
So it's like, could they actually have Lucifer pop up?
Well, they cover in Sandman. They cover Lucifer leaving hell.
No, I know that. I'm saying, could they have somehow connected? Because then technically, it would also be technically connected to like the CW Arrowverse, right? Because Tom Ellis popped up in like a multiverse thing or something, like for like 10 seconds.
Well, do you already know like how much you know about the cast of the show already?
I haven't looked at the cast in a long time. Actually, hold on. No, I'm gonna pull it up. Let me pull it up.
Yeah,
quick.
You might be fascinated by some things.
It's been forever since I haven't read it since summer 2017 or 2013. Well, I mean,
I think if you have
Gwendolyn
time,
Christie as Lucifer is a great idea, though.
That's that's why when you're talking about Tom Ellis, I said I want you to go look at the cast.
Charles Dance is great.
Maddie Gunner said, "Ooh, we're talking
Kirby
Sandman."
Howell Baptiste. Yeah, Kirby Howell Baptiste. She's good, so that's interesting.
You can
Jenna
see
Coleman as Joanna Constantine. Interesting.
You can see Charles Dance in. They released I swear to God, 8 months ago. They released a teaser trailer for this, and Charles Dance was in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. Patton Oswalt is the Raven.
So that should be fine. My problem is the Audible is Andy Serkis, and I'm just like, well, everything about the Audible is better.
Going to. Okay. Have you watched Demon Slayer at all?
I have not.
Okay, so Demon Slayer is fucking awesome. Like it is one of the most gorgeous animes I think I've ever seen. It's really fucking action packed. It's just really, really great. And one of the things is they like send notes off by Raven, and the Raven, because like we listen to the sub version, so everyone is talking Japanese, but like the Ravens, they have this big loud squeaking voice, and it's very crazy, like loud, like jarring to everyone else talking with stuff that when it happens. And I'm like, that is it's so hilariously out of place, but also sort of within the tone. Yeah. But it's like, I look at this and I'm like, Patton Oswalt voicing a Raven to all of this, he feels like the odd man out to whatever.
A little bit, right? Well, and we just had him do a voice for Pip the Troll, and I'm imagining Pip the Troll in Sandman, and I'm like, fascinating.
So it's I'm
not very familiar with Tom Sturridge. I've never seen him anything.
either. Let me see if I've seen it.
But Neil Gaiman, like I was watching just a couple days ago, they put out like a 10-minute interview with Neil and Tom, and Neil was talking about how they went through, like they found Tom very early on, but proceeded to go through like 400 more auditions, and they're like, no, it's still
I've
Tom.
Seen 2 movies that he's in: The Boat That Rocked, which was in the UK, and other stuff called Pirate Radio. I think The Boat That Rocked. Oh no, in the UK it's called The Boat That Rocked. In North America it was Pirate Radio. I think The Boat That Rocked is a much better name. Do you know what that movie is about?
I don't.
It's about like in the 60s they had this like a pirate radio station, which was one that would operate on, which didn't have like, I guess it wasn't like allowed to do it, so they operated on a boat like in international waters just far enough away that they couldn't get in trouble or no one could do anything about it. And so they had a rock station playing whatever they wanted and not like controlled by censors. So they were the boat that rocked, if that makes sense. He's like the main he's the main guy in that movie, and I thought he was good in that. And then I guess he's in Velvet Buzzsaw, so I'm assuming he's one of the people that gets killed by the art.
Is that Jake Gyllenhaal? Right?
Yeah.
I was just I want to respond really quick. Maddie Gunner said, I'm guessing they're starting with Preludes and Nocturnes, which is the first volume. My understanding is they're going from Preludes and Nocturnes through Dollhouse, which is the first 2 volumes of the comic. I've also heard from somebody that's seen bits and pieces of it that I think episode 3 is going to be the 24-hour diner. So for anyone that remembers that from the early stories,
it's so long.
It's rough. Also, David Thewlis is going to be playing a monstrous villain. Yeah, John D, who is terrifying. One of my questions is how much DC are they? Because like in the first volume, they lean on being a DC adjacent property quite a bit, and then as they go on, they kind of forget about it. But
if they're going to be absorbing, I'm sorry for interrupting you there, but if they're going to be absorbing more than one story in the season, then they can condense that enough in order to like write around making it DC adjacent.
Yeah, I have a feeling, I have nothing to back this up on, but I have a feeling they're going to drop some of the blatant DC connections. John Constantine has a small but pivotal role in the first volume. There's elements that take place in Gotham, and then one of my favorite things is we get to see Etrigan the Demon when he goes down to hell. I'm guessing we probably won't see any of that. Martian Manhunter is also in the first volume. I don't think we're going to see any of that.
Yeah, the Scarecrow. I'm looking at the Wikipedia.
Yeah, and Scarecrow. Scarecrow was in like the cell next to John D when he was escaping Arkham.
Mm-hmm. And it's and Green Lantern. It has the introduction of Lucifer, cameos by Batman and Green Lantern in it too. I'm very interested though in just how it's going to occur.
Neil Gaiman's been wanting to do Sandman for a long time. He was even connected with Joseph Gordon-Levitt a while back.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt was going to star and direct a movie version.
I think I'm glad that didn't happen. Well, I mean, we'll see how the Netflix show goes.
He had one movie under his belt as a director, which was Don John.
I was about to say it was Don John, yeah.
Don John's Addiction, the original title there. And I don't know, it just feels like that movie was fine, but I don't know how.
I mean, if you want to watch Joseph Gordon-Levitt and ScarJo Bang, you can watch that movie.
But like without seeing anything, which is weird.
Yeah.
So
well, I had to talk a little bit about the softcore in that movie to try to keep Jake Iacovetta around because he said he was going to unsubscribe when he saw you on screen.
Well, it's fine. Fuck Jake.
And we'll talk about streaming things and looking forward to Obi-Wan, looking forward to Stranger Things, looking forward to She-Hulk. Miss Marvel I haven't really brought up yet, and a lot of people are instantly tuning out because it's a younger demographic. What about? I'm still looking forward.
Who gives a shit?
I don't care.
Who cares? It looks fun. I hope it's enjoyable. One thing that I've had a big problem with the Marvel stuff is that they haven't always made the shows work for the episode count they're given.
Agreed. And I think a lot of people are kind of being misled when we're being told that She-Hulk's going to be 9 episodes, and everyone's like, "Oh, finally, it's going to fix the problem." I said, "No, it's good." WandaVision's still my favorite, but they were like 30-minute episodes.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be the same. And I think there need to be in between there and be like, hey, can we get like 10 45-minute episodes? I think that would be solid.
Like Mandalorian does the same stuff too.
Oh yeah, it's short.
I mean, but like Mandalorian though, I think the first 2 seasons there really like
Mandalorian can get away with it a little more because they're so episodic.
Yeah, they're very episodic,
so self-contained.
but they were able to work really well. Book of Boba Fett, I don't think worked as well with with the episode missing. It was
because he's a man, DeLorean.
Hey, Sean, how you doing, buddy?
I just came to.
We were just gonna wrap up. Actually, I think we're gonna end the show. So thanks for
I just got here.
Oh, thank God! I don't want to see Sean. So let's leave. Goodbye, everyone.
Well, now it appropriately says Sean Wingblade up top there. So we're just talking about all the streaming things coming out that we're looking forward to, and luckily you just dodged me waxing poetic about Sandman. So
I was listening. Yeah. I heard it. Just kidding. I was trying to get in here a little earlier, but I was busy. Family stuff.
All right.
What's going on?
Oh man! Oh, look at you with a family.
I have that. I have family.
Yeah. I have a family.
What streaming stuff you're looking forward to, Sean?
Sorry. Yeah, I was trying to what were you guys just talking about? Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
I think it looks fun. Looks like coming of age, and I'm more curious. I'm less curious about the show. I think we know what the show might end up being, but I'm more curious about how she's going to tie in with the Marvels once.
Right.
She jumps into what was the actress's name from WandaVision? Was it Tiana Paris? Is that the same? Is that the right person?
Well,
okay.
Tiana Paris. Yeah.
Tiana Paris. Okay, so I just rewatched WandaVision. And I really liked her and how her transition came about, but then she, so underutilized at the end. So I'm excited to see is Secret Invasion before or after the Marvels set.
Oh, no, it sounds like it's weird too.
It's got to be close because they're both done. Current. They're both done filming.
Right.
The Marvels is supposed to be current, I think, and now it is. And Secret Invasion is supposed to take place during the blip, which is odd because there's an old grizzled Sam Jackson in the image, but he's supposed to be.
I was hearing that there was some misquoting going on, and that what the context is that during the blip is when the Skrulls invaded. But I think they might be dealing with the aftermath post blip. Because like you said, why would we have an old grizzled Nick Fury during the blip when he's dead?
That would make a lot more sense. Right. Now, actually, going back to the Lightyear comment, with the whole the trailer, the song does the heavy lifting in the trailer. Mm-hmm. I think that there's a lot of really fun tone stuff at play in the trailer for Ms. Marvel, but I also think that having blinding lights by The Weeknd, that's a pretty big heavy lifter as far as getting that energy right for the trailer. You take that song away, I don't know if it has the same feel.
Right. Well, I mean it's maintained pretty well for me because now they've had several TV spots and other trailers that they're not leaning on it as much, and I'm still very curious. And obviously, to address the elephant in the room, they have done some changes with Kamala's power to make them more cohesive to the MCU, and I'm just interested to see what that backstory is going to be and how they're going to handle it.
I am as well. I don't really care, but
I'm always interested when they do a storyline like that because it comes down to of just accepting the path that this one character has these powers because this one character has their hands on this item,
right?
And there's always that story beat of, well, what's to stop the government from coming in and taking this gauntlet or something. So maybe they'll address that in the show and be like, it only works with her blood or something like that. I don't know, or whoever first laid hands on it is the only person it works with. But it's always just that there's that wrinkle where it's someone could just steal it and use it for themselves. But then I guess it's the morality. Like, are they ethical with this power they have, or great power?
Somebody could steal the Iron Man suit, and they have before. It's
exactly, and that's always been the story.
What Jeremy said there, Daredevil's 13 for each season. Yes, and 13 wasn't always the best amount for each season.
Yeah, there could be a couple filler seasons when they're like hour long, 13 episodes.
The first season was awesome. I think the third season was really good, maybe an episode too long. I think the second season might have been 2 to 3 episodes too long.
I like conceptually 8 to 10 close to an hour long episodes for
I think even half hour
movie-esque.
I think even half hour ones Barry is fucking
well, yeah, Barry is like the example. Well, what's funny is I didn't realize until now in season 3 I always thought they were longer. And we went back in retrospect and looked and like, wow, Barry's always been short, but it never has felt like we're being gypped.
And
Barry's a fantastic show.
Have you been keeping up with Barry?
I think I'm current.
Bill Hader
just started the next season, right?
It's no spoiler.
We're about 4 episodes into the next season.
He is fucking unhinged this season.
Oh yeah.
He is off his fucking rocker.
Without giving a whole lot of context, the episode this season with the little girl is my favorite episode of the whole season. Or show, I mean. Crazy Girl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're talking about season 2's episode.
Was that season 2?
Yeah, the one where it's okay. It's the one where he was tasked with assassinating the guy sleeping with the cop's wife. Yeah.
Yes.
That was an insane piece.
I got caught up on season 2 like about a month ago, so I think 2 and 3 have bled into each other a little bit.
Yeah.
I've never seen an episode. I do want to start it. It's gotten so much acclaim that I need. It's a show I need to watch.
Yeah, you're looking at about 5-hour seasons.
Really easy. Yeah, I mean it's they're not even they're really not much longer than 30 minutes, any of them. So
Lego knows what we're talking about.
Yep. Lego has it. They know.
Yep.
I don't think she's having. I don't think she's coming. I think it's episode 5. It's episode 5 of season 2.
Oh, fight.
I'll
go. I thought it was at the very end, but I could be wrong.
But it is. Yeah, I think it's episode 5, Ron Lily. Because I just watched it last month.
Hey, Sean, can you audibly make a Streamlab noise with your mouth? Hey guys, look at that. We just got a Streamlab in from returning from the grave. Anatoly Kubishkin has tipped in $5. You banned me, but have jabronis speak. I am so sorry, Anatoly. Please do not come for me or my family. Thank you for the donation, though.
I wonder who actually posted that.
Episode lists of "I Don't Think She's Human."
No. It's a quote from the episode.
Oh, yes, gotcha. I was looking at the titles.
Ron Lily is episode 5, but it's Ron Lily is episode 5 of season 2.
You're odd man out, Sean. You got to watch Barry, or as Hank would say, Batty.
I have so many things I want. It says, "What do you want to watch?" I want to finish season 2 of The Witcher. I am currently about 12 episodes behind.
Screw The Witcher. Watch Barry.
Wherever The Flash is at. I know that's about to end.
I gave up all of that stuff. January 2018, after the mid-season finales, I was watching all that CW stuff, and I told myself, you know what? I don't have to watch it. I was watching it because I felt like I needed to, because my mind, if things are connected and doing crossovers and whatnot the way they were doing it, to me, I had to watch all of them or none of them.
That's
how my brain would work. I couldn't. I jumped
ship on Legends. I jumped ship on Supergirl. Pretty much when Arrow ended, I quit really caring about watching anything on the CW.
You guys both lasted significantly longer than I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched a season and a half of Riverdale. One of the most bizarre things. Speaking of bizarre television show things, Jesse?
I quit on like Legends of Tomorrow, Flash, Arrow and stuff all really early, but I rewatched the unfinished season of Constantine like 3 times.
I love that show, like in terms of the promise it obviously had.
Idiots.
I do want to catch back up on Superman and Lois though, because I think they're on a different Earth. No,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think so.
They're pretty devoid from like the crossover stuff, at least from what I've seen, for the most part. Not always. There's a little bit there, but I actually really do like the show. I am like 4 episodes behind on that. I need to catch back up.
I don't watch that either.
Well, you guys aren't mentioning when we were talking about HBO, we didn't mention one of the best things on HBO right now, and it's Our Flag Means Death.
Oh shit! I'm like, I have like 2 to 3 episodes left. That show is that show is great. That show is just so positively queer. Like just queer out its ass. It is so wonderful. And like as I'm watching it, like when I watch a trailer and knowing that like Taika Waititi was an executive producer, I'm like, okay, they threw his name on. He does a cameo in like an episode, and that's it. And I'm like,
I was thinking the same thing.
He is a main character of this entire series.
Taika, after the first 2 episodes, he becomes co-lead.
Yeah, and I'm like, I just did not expect that to happen for whatever reason. He's so busy to just be
Scott,
like,
it is
I'm just going to star in a show.
Yeah.
Lego loves it.
Oh, man.
Wow, we're getting a lot of... I'm glad I brought it up.
Yay for gay pirates.
What's up, Motorola? Yes.
Yeah.
And we just started rewatching the show with one of our friends.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I'm
Joey,
on it.
You hopped out quite a few seasons back. So I think we're all basically saying how much we kind of just fell off the range.
Savitar was hard to get through. I will say that I actually kind of like the 4th season with the Thinker.
I watched through season 5
because it was different. It was different enough that it wasn't another speedster. Yeah, DeVoe.
Right, yeah. And then I got like 2 episodes into season 5, and that's when I hit I'll say the Jeff point of I don't have to watch these.
But like when you think about like crazy shows like like Riverdale, how bizarre that sort of shit is. I know I just retweeted this thread of just the musical performances from when Glee was on, and
I watched every episode of Glee.
That I cannot believe I watched the first few seasons. Like I had to be there when it was like airing live.
It was appointment viewing.
It was appointment, and then I'm like, what am I doing? I don't need to watch it anymore.
Oh,
and
my
now
wife and her
watching
sister
them
went
individually.
to the Glee concert.
It is like watching those videos is like if you used to be a scene kid and you look back and you're looking at like a photo of yourself in the mid 2000s with like your bangs and whatnot. Like, oh my god, this is so cringe.
I have photos of me in Jinko jeans.
Insane to watch.
That were way too big for me to be wearing.
God, it is. It
all
is
the pockets.
It actively feels uncomfortable to watch those scenes, especially something like oh god, I forget his name, Matthew Morrison's character, the teacher, and he does Gold Digger a cappella.
Mr. Morrison, I don't remember his name.
Will something, isn't it?
Hello.
Hello.
Sean says Hilo, which is kind of like Halo, but it's.
I say Halo.
Hello. Hello. So does Jeff. Jeff also says hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Did you feed them?
Yes, they've been fed.
Oh, it's Will something. Anyways, that show was like it is so cringe.
Will Turner. Nope, wrong franchise.
What are you doing?
I'm looking it up. It's gonna bug the hell out of me if I don't remember it now.
Yeah, I watched every episode of Glee. I liked it. I enjoyed it just fine. But I was mainly watching it with my wife. But her and her sister went to the Glee concerts. I think they went to 2 of them.
You now have to change your Twitter handle to
what's
former
his name
Gleek
died?
Sean Wingblade.
Former Gleek.
Yeah.
How about
Joey
Will
nailed
Schuster?
it.
That's it. Will Schuster.
Will
Actually, if
How
we
about
can get
this?
$50, Sean's going to change.
franchise.
If we can get $50, Sean's going to change his Twitter handle to Gleek in the Streets.
I did not agree to that. One of the 3 of us on screen will change their name to Gleek on the Streets, and it won't be the person.
My Twitter handle leads to our channel information. So, Jeff,
How about I'm definitely not doing it.
I'll do
But
it
there's
overnight.
that one video where it's oh shit, what's that actress?
But what about me,
Lea
baby?
Lea Michele, and she's like in the bathroom, and this girl's in there listening to Lady Gaga Telephone, and the girl's like singing to herself, and then Lea Michele turns around and sings it at her. And it's supposed to be this musical sequence of them singing to each other, but it's not. The girl is quiet the whole time. It's Lea Michele screaming the song in this young girl's face, and it's horrifying to watch. I don't understand how people made this show.
From the stories I heard about Lea Michele in real life, I feel like that might have just been them recording her, like offset.
Oh man,
I remember, and this is just gossip from my wife, who knew, like, it was like all into the behind the scenes, like she was such a diva and stuff like that. I don't know if she wanted to be an actress, but I don't think she's been in very many movies since then. Maybe like Broadway stuff, but I'm not in that world, so I'm not sure. Yeah, that she was a great singer. I haven't seen many of those people that haven't been in much. The ones that are, sadly, a few of them, have passed on. The ones that are still around.
oh man, I am.
Living in Washington is expensive. Yeah, so is California, bro.
Yeah. Maybe I should just change to living is expensive. Hang on.
Living is expensive. We were talking about our rents the other day, and I'm like, you guys are so cute. Your rent. It's half the cost of my mortgage.
Yeah, I'm not getting paid jack either.
Jeff, how is your house coming along?
It's fine.
I know you were doing a ton of renovations, weren't you?
I like your background
yes,
now a lot more than your previous, to be honest. There's like the
You like how it's flat?
Just
Yeah.
I mean,
dead.
look at this.
matches my insides.
This bookshelf right here. That
But what's-
bookshelf is what had this microphone clamped to it all that time before.
What's important
Now it's on the shelf thing.
is cats still within reach?
Yes, the door's closed though. They're out sleeping. But
No, not-
yes, they do pop up.
Jeff puts the Blu-rays to bed. I don't think he realized what cats you were referring to.
Because my cats would pop up in streams a lot. Sorry. Yeah, it's in one of the boxes.
Tell
so
me
I haven't pulled
you
it out.
lay your Blu-rays down and then you cover them with like a hand towel. Like you prop them up on a roll.
Well,
of paper
only-
towels.
I
He
kiss, it
only
on the
does
head. I
that.
kiss it at the top.
Gotta-
I kiss it on the top
quiet,
before I
quiet.
put the
It's bedtime.
Why can't I think of
Stop meowing.
what's the one? What's that one you love unironically about the two older ladies?
Barb and Star. Go to Vista
Barb and
Del
Star
Mar.
go to Vista Del
and
Mar?
Star.
I haven't
Well,
watched
Yeah,
it,
that's
but I
the
want to.
only one.
It's great.
That's the only one he
It's 'cause
texts
it's
in. Yeah.
That Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar is comedy gold.
With Jamie Dornan.
Yes, with Jamie Dornan, outstanding, best work he's ever done, and that
Well.
includes Belfast. And
I,
50 Shades.
My wife and I knew him from Once Upon a Time. And then 50 Shades started to come out, and she was all excited. And then she started reading the books, and she got all into it just because.
Oh yeah, because he was what was it?
He was
Was he sheriff or whatever? He
was sheriff, and I'm trying to remember his actual character.
Yeah, I don't remember. Was
I
he?
think he
was.
was.
Well, I know Sebastian Stan as the Mad Hatter. And that's
Yeah, I watched the first 2 seasons of Once Upon a Time, and I was like, you know what? Season 1 was very interesting, and I enjoyed watching it. I'm good after season 2. I don't need to
I
watch
think that's
anymore.
about where I went to. I think I went to like season 2, and then
And it went
the
like
Huntsman.
6 seasons in a spin-off.
Mm-hmm.
Lego just is
Oh.
on top of everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Huntsman.
The Huntsman, yeah. Well, it was a mixture of the Huntsman and also, I think, the Woodsman from Red Riding Hood, maybe? I think they like combined the character. Yeah, I could be way off, maybe. I feel like they combined
Probably.
the character.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Beat
right
'em,
now,
beat
as
'em.
far as TV, I'm also watching some other anime. I'm catching
Giants
up on My
lost.
Hero Academia, which is a ton of fun, especially if you like superhero stuff. Between watching My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer and starting Naruto with Paulina because it's her favorite of all time, I've come to the determination
Don't
that
hide it.
anime is 80% of anime dialogue is just fight scenes where the characters are thinking about or saying out loud how their fight moves are done. 80% of an anime's dialogue is that. Just fight move descriptions.
The only anime I've ever gotten into was Dragon Ball. When it was because they did a good job at putting it on like Saturday morning cartoons at the right time when I was a kid, when Dragon Ball was doing like first airing, so which rolled into Z, which rolled into GT, and then by that time I was out of it. But that was the only ones I ever actually like glommed onto. My friend was all into like Bleach and Naruto and
those
Cowboy
Naruto.
Bebop
You have
and
to
stuff
pronounce
like
I
it.
gave
Naruto.
so I gave
With a
one
D,
One Punch
Naruto.
Man a hot episode and a half.
Of what?
One Punch Man. So
One Punch Man is awesome. I only watched the first season, but that show is great.
All it takes is one punch, man.
I've seen all of
I
Dragon
love the
Ball
idea.
Z.
I love the idea of One Punch Man. The man who's literally the strongest superhero in the world. He literally can beat anyone with one punch. So it's like, what's the point? He's always going to win.
Whenever I get around, if I get around to watching something, I might give My Hero Academia a try. I've been hearing.
I just because I watched the first 2 seasons like in a big binge with Paulina last year, and now I just yesterday picked up season 3, picking up where I left off, because I think they're in like season 6 now. It's a lot of fun, but like I said, it is like 80% they're fighting, and it's them thinking. It's about them like providing exposition on stuff you've already watched, and them describing their own fight moves as they're doing. Excuse me, as they're doing them.
Happy Gilmore's on.
What about Happy Gilmore?
It's on VH1.
Oh, good for you.
I don't know. The Giants just lost, so I'm trying to turn it off because I don't want to watch the replays.
Isn't it a Friday night?
Yeah, the game just ended. 10:40.
Oh, Giants. That's a baseball game?
Baseball. Yes, it's not football.
When you said Giants, I'm like, hold on. That doesn't. I don't pay attention to sports, obviously.
The only Giants I know lost was that Jack the Giant Slayer movie. That was a. Woof.
That's on the
Nicholas Hoult. Wasn't Ewan McGregor in that too?
Maybe.
All right, listen to this, IG guys.
And that was wasn't it Bryan Singer?
Yeah,
it was Bryan Singer, Ewan
Nicholas
McGregor, Nicholas Hoult.
Listen to this. So the other day I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna watch a movie, and I ended up watching 5 movies that day.
Wow.
Instead of like doing proper work. The first 3 ended up creating an unofficial trilogy that I think you two IG guys might appreciate or not appreciate based on it. It was bad comic book movies where a lead character is a cowboy. Because I watched R.I.P.D.
Yeah.
And then I watched Jonah Hex, and then I watched Cowboys and Aliens.
Well, I can tell you which is the best of the 3. It's the Jon Favreau one.
Yeah, it's the John, and even that one's still not that good. But like Jonah Hex is like actively awful.
What's upsetting to me is like if you would have asked me who should play Jonah Hex and you offered me Josh Brolin, I would have said, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And then they did it, and it was like, but I mean, that's what they get when they make a movie and they give it to. I mean, that movie is listed as 82 minutes. It is 72 minutes. There are 10 minutes of credits on that.
That's the best part about the movie. Here's
the thing, though. Yeah, it's short, and yet somehow the first half of the movie felt like it was 3 hours long.
Yeah.
It is somehow incredibly short and horribly paced. Like like there was definitely a vision of things that was shot, and it was just ripped out of their hands. It probably still wasn't good, but it was like maybe not this.
Michael Fassbender.
Cut to shreds. Yeah, he's the only thing that was interesting about the movie.
Oh, I was going to say the opposite. As he was the worst thing about the movie.
I thought he was. To me, he felt like he felt like Colin Farrell in Daredevil. In terms of like the crazy weird that he tried to inject in it.
Okay.
I watched R.I.P.D. for the first time a few months ago, and I was in disbelief. Like the whole at first I was like, okay, this movie's just bad, and then like for the last third act, I was in utter disbelief of what I was witnessing.
It's crazy. And people grew into their ghost selves in the same transformation technique that they happened to have be in the She-Hulk trailer.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! You stop it!
It was every ghost transformation was like grotesque, just gross looking, and then
Which is
everything
fine,
that
but it's like
everything that Jeff Bridges was doing was just so bad.
It's so weird because it's like that was 2013 when that came out.
Yeah.
But it's
And
but it's
Kevin
like,
Bacon had the most mustache twirly bill in this, just all of it twirling
but
every
it was,
month.
it
He
was
was
like,
his
it
mustache
was
was
wild. It was wild that it was like 2009. He did that.
Spoiler alert:
Oscar.
Kevin Bacon's the bad guy.
It's like
Kevin
2009,
Bacon
he did
playing
that
his
voice,
role
they
from
got an
First
Oscar.
Class again.
He did that role. He
so
did
much
that
better.
role, that same cowboyish shit in True Grit the next year, and he got an Oscar nomination. I thought he was awesome in that. He did
I've
the
never seen True
same
Grit.
shit. He did the same weird shit, but like with much worse dialogue. There in what's it called in R.I.P.D. and it didn't work at all.
Mm.
It was.
We have people in the chat. I enjoy Cowboys and Aliens just fine. It's not something I want to go back to
I don't
watch.
remember.
I've seen it
I
quite a few
actually
times.
don't
but
remember almost anything
fine.
about it. I don't remember anything about the climax.
I watched the movie in theaters
how
the
a lot
year
of
it
things
came
happened.
out,
Same.
and that was the last time I saw it. And I just remember Olivia Wilde walking into fire, and that's all I took away from
You want to talk about a bad movie that I watched recently, Sean? I think I think because I had seen your reaction on there too. I watched Morbius finally.
Oh Jesus!
I watched Morbius.
Yeah, I'd comment on PJ's thing, Twitter.
It was
It was
shocking that it exists.
That's a good description. My only sunshine upon that movie was pardon the pun for a vampire movie. What I really think Jared Leto was good in the movie. It was just everything else around him going wrong.
It wasn't that he was good. It's that his character wasn't interesting enough for him to do anything that could have even been assumedly good or bad. He's so nothing in the movie. And then like Matt's that, so as a result he doesn't look awful because he's not given a chance to try in any way. Here's the thing, I had to read the finale online after I watched the movie because I had forgotten. Like, I forgot what happened to the love interest girl. I didn't remember anything about that. So I had to reread it to be like, oh my God, wait, that happened?
It's not that you forgot it. It's that the movie doesn't show you. They just jump right over it.
Yeah, it's oh my God, it is.
Spoilers for more.
The movie
no,
is, it's one of those things where like the movie itself is not one of those so bad it's fun to watch. It is just, it's a bad movie, not a fun bad movie.
Sorry, I just turned on Ghost Rider:
is
Spirit of Vengeance because it was on.
very
Christopher
fun
Lambert.
to talk about though. Ghost Rider:
Also-
Spirit of Vengeance is absolutely unhinged. I kind of admire
It has
I've
one
actually
of my
never
favorite
seen
Nick Cage scenes of all time. Him screaming at
It
the
is
guy,
unhinged.
scraping out the door.
Mm-hmm. Scraping at the door.
It just started. I just saw him fighting Idris Elba in the opening scene.
He's scraping at the door. Just.
And now some
insane.
lady's
I
about to
love
kill her and her kid, probably.
It's not good, but it is something to watch.
Yeah, I
Melody
feel
and
like
Taylor together are chaotic, but they need to not be like pulled back by a PG-13 film. I mean, have you seen Crank and Crank High Voltage?
Lego knows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw Crank High
Yeah.
Voltage in theaters back in April 2009. I want to say April or May. I'm gonna say April, end of April 2009.
Probably not a date you need to remember.
Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna, you know what?
I gotta look it up. What day did it release?
Yeah,
Came out
What's
March 27th, 2009. I saw it in theaters.
April
That was the
17th,
worst
2009. April 17th, 2009. And I've seen that movie a few times since. I enjoy that one. They are.
Was that the
unhinged.
second one? You said High Voltage or the first one?
Yeah, High Voltage. The first one I downloaded and watched where I put it on a memory card and watch it on my PSP. That's how I'd watch that first one. Back in 2006. That's how I first saw Spider-Man 3. Someone did a cam version of it, like bringing a camera into the theater, and it was clear enough. And I downloaded it and put it on my PSP and watched it.
So transitioning to like one of the final things is the recommendations and what people should watch. And you're saying a cam version of Spider-Man 3 as your send-off for the episode, correct?
You know what the new version of PSP is though? Is watch it on your watch. You definitely have to watch like things like Tenet and Spider-Man cam version, Spider-Man 3.
You gotta play Elden
on your
Ring
watch.
on your watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tenet, forget Christopher Nolan. Tenet was made to be watched on an Apple Watch.
100%.
I don't think you understand it. Tenet, Oppenheimer is actually going to be streaming exclusively on Game Boy Micro.
It's actually Christopher Nolan's follow-up to Interstellar is going to be exclusively on the Tamagotchi.
Christopher Nolan's entire catalog is going to be exclusively available for purchase to play on old, no longer being circulated copies of the iPod Shuffle. The one that does have a screen on it, where it's like a tiny little screen.
It's going to be replicated through also the Game Boy Color, but the one with the broken backlight where it worked for a little bit and then stopped working, so you can't actually see anything that's happening on screen.
Quentin Tarantino's entire filmography is being re-released on VHS.
Yeah. Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair is available, but only on the DS, where Volume 1 is playing on the top screen and Volume 2 is playing on the bottom screen.
Simultaneously. Both audio tracks, like one in each ear.
Exactly.
I heard one of you guys say 100%, and I want to take a second to recommend anybody that has some time in Netflix, please go watch American Vandal seasons 1 and 2.
Oh
Yes.
my god, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you have
All right. They
everyone,
buried it.
if you have
buried
not
that
seen
fucking-
American Vandal,
Yeah, you gotta look for it.
Season two is so good. Like season 1 is one of the, I think, like the single best comedy seasons of television maybe ever. Season 2 is really good. It was obviously going to be very hard to live up to how good season 1 was.
I
But it
don't
made like a
know
great
what.
decision to be darker and
Yeah.
colder and like meaner, and I really like that direction it took with it to make it stand out. But they buried it by doing one trailer right before it came out, and then they dropped it without putting it on any of the main pages the same day that they were doing an ad blitz for the new season of BoJack Horseman.
I don't know which season I prefer. Both of those seasons I thought were great.
I think that, so I'm someone who doesn't believe in the whole argument that what started a whole thing is greater because without this you wouldn't have newer things. I don't believe that to be the case.
I know what you're saying.
Like there are people like Ocarina of Time is the greatest game of all time or whatever, and it's the greatest Zelda game of all time. And I'm like, cool, it is very good, but like Breath of the Wild is something completely like in a league of its own, I think.
There's a point.
And there are people who are very much like that. So for me, I actually think that as great as season 2 is for American Vandal, it's the sort of thing where season 1 it stands so well on its own.
Yes.
And season 2, unfortunately, one of the things going against it, it succeeds very well despite it, is that the novelty is worn off for that now of its concept. Because one of the whole great things about American Vandal is that because it's a true crime story thing, it plays so much like it's real that you're invested in it more as a real story.
Right.
It's weird now to see like half that cast in other things. Like you got some of them over on like Reservation Dogs and
Reservation Dogs, yeah.
Dylan was in 22 Jump Street.
And
He's on some show.
Yeah, he Life After Jimmy. That's his or Life According to Jimmy or something on YouTube. Jimmy Tatro. He's had a whole thing. He's been on all sorts of stuff.
One of the main filming kids
Gemstones,
is on Lock and Key.
And the guy who directed the whole series is also like the main director on Dave, starring Lil Dicky. And then what the hell is his name? I don't know his name. He's the ginger kid that lied about the hand job at the lake.
That's where 100% comes from. Every time somebody says 100%, I think of
Really?
100%.
100%.
100%. He starred in this awesome movie that was distributed by YouTube Premium or YouTube Red at the time. Bodied, which is this kid who is just like and he's just like in a good home and whatnot, but he's obsessed with like rapping and like underground rap battle stuff, and it is so good. It's not 8 Mile, but like that's obviously the closest thing that you can like compare it to. But it stands on its own against 8 Mile. It doesn't have Lose Yourself, obviously. It's great, and I would suggest checking that out if you can.
But it does have Mom Spaghetti. It's important to keep that around.
Yeah, what I like are those remixes where it's every time, like everything they pull it out, so it just is replaced with Mom Spaghetti. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already, Mom Spaghetti, but he's nervous because on the surface he looks Mom Spaghetti.
I don't know how you guys feel about this, but we're getting closer to like the June-July time, and for me that means that now we have the honorary annual tradition of watching Hamilton sometime soon.
I've only watched it the one time.
I've only watched it the one third of a time, and I never finished it.
Well, Sean, that really hurts me. I have watched it all the way through at least 4 times.
I've listened to the soundtrack a bunch. Well, skipped around to the songs I like the most, but I haven't rewatched it the first time.
First you put Man of Steel and Blade Trinity in the same boat, and then you say that you skip around the Hamilton soundtrack.
Yeah, for reference, Sean, I very, very rightly said that when he was like, when he hears David Goyer's name, he gets nervous. I said, yeah, I mean, you can get Blade Trinity or Man of Steel or maybe even a good movie.
I mean, you're not wrong. He has those credits. I can't argue with that. But I think that he did better with Man of Steel. And I'm sticking to my gun.
That's fine.
With that, guys, how do you feel about this? Is a good sending off point. Say goodnight to all the lovely people at home.
That's good. Good night, everyone. Hang up. Stop watching. The show is over. So, go to bed.
Yeah. But thank you for joining us.
And come back and tell everyone it's over.
It's over. Over. I want a Pizza Papa shirt. By the way, Jeff, did you show Sean your shirt? I'm sorry, I'm obsessing over it. It's my favorite.
Sean, have you seen this shirt yet?
Hold on. Sorry, I had a window open. Somehow heartbreak is good. Oh, jeez. That's funny.
All right, Jeremy,
did you pick that up from a corner store?
No, I got it on Teespring. I bought it online and had it delivered to me.
Wow.
All right, guys.
I believe it that much.
Thank you so much for joining us on one of our first proper speakeasies in a good hot minute. Sean, we appreciate you and the sound of your bottled water. We will talk to you guys all later, actually tomorrow morning. News and views, bright and early. See you then.
With new overlays. That's the reason why the videos are getting so many
overlays.